Okay, here we go. All right. It is Geo Boogie Layers Take 58. Action.
Okay, so
I always pass the ball to you.
yes, you throw it right in my court.
Go.
So layers. Ordinarily, you'll see Elizabeth. She layers extensively. That is really your thing when you gel print. And there's obviously the rationale behind that is because you're going to use the little bits of paper to do lots of things with.
Little bits of lots of things.
That's right. I layer a lot more. What's the word that I'm looking for? It's more of a struggle for me. I have to really think about it. So Elizabeth is actually, why don't you show them that while my mouth flaps?
You layer cautiously and I layer with wild abandon.
There you go. Yes, yes. Minimalist, maximalist. So that pretty much covers it.
What I did, and I'm going to show you how to do today, which is something that I use, a technique I use a lot in my mixed media backgrounds, is to stencil directly onto the surface of the art behind the subject. So you kind of have to look closely at this, but this is one of the Geo Boogie stencils, and I did it with a stencil brush, so it has a soft feeling, it has faded out edges, and it's a beautiful technique for backgrounds of any subject matter.
Well, and think about it. If you hold that up and I hold this up, look at the difference between that. You've got hard lines here, which is what you get when you gel print, versus the really soft look that you have by using that big old stencil brush.
Yeah, it's just two totally different ways you can use the same stencils.
And that's the nice thing. You know, we always say how versatile stencils are. They really are the tool that I reach for the most often in my studio. So this is just a quick layered print that I did when I was playing around as we were working with this. But what I'm going to demo is how you can take a print like this. Now, what you don't see is that the paper was white. But what I did was I used a technique that Elizabeth has shown in the past and that she taught me, which is that if you take this white piece of paper and you put the back up and you soak it with water, then you can come in with paint and you can add color in the back, but it doesn't change the color in the front because you're coming from behind. I'm motioning behind the paper, you can't see it. You're coming from behind. So there is a method to the madness. And the best part is when you tear this, there's no white edges. Now that doesn't matter for me so much, but for somebody like Elizabeth or those of you who take her classes, that really can matter at times because you don't want that white edge.
Sure, it makes it easier when you're tearing it not to have a white edge. And in terms of color theory, you know, this red stays red because the blue comes from the back. If you put the blue over the top, it would change the red. So, and that's yet another amazing benefit of this rice paper is that it will soak the color all the way through.
Yeah,
so we love that.
Yeah, we didn't say that in the video, or I certainly don't remember that I did, but this is the same Yasutomo 9x12 sketch rice paper pad that we use all the time. Not only because it's so smooth that it picks up every stinking detail from the plate, but also because it's so absorbent and you can do this with it.
Yep. Yeah. Lots of options with these Geo Boogie stencils.
Geo Boogie, you have no idea how many times I want to say booger.
That's going to go in the blooper reel.
Absolutely. So shall we go do it?
Yes, let's show them how we did it. Okay, so I thought that I would demonstrate a different way that I use my stencil designs other than gel printing, which is the primary way that I use them. But here is one of my new Geo Boogie stencil designs called Weaving. And here is one of my Funky Florals in progress. So I have started collaging this. I've collaged these flowers and the stems and some of the stuff down here. But what I established first is the background. And in the Funky Florals, I have sort of sections and segments in the background. So here I've got some black gesso, I've got some gold metallic leaf, and I've got a stencil pattern that is put directly on the board. This is not paper. This is a stencil pattern that's put directly on the surface of the mixed media artwork. So just so you can see that closely. So that, and then I collage the flowers on top. So you can see how this is now collaged over this nice subtle background pattern. So I figure I would show you how to do that on a plain cradled board. in the technique that I use for my Funky Florals. So I have a stencil brush. I have painted this board a combination of ultramarine blue mixed with white to create this periwinkle color. And then what I do next is I create a slightly lighter version of this color or a slightly darker version so that there's a very subtle difference. And to bring this one in again, you can see that it's a very subtle difference. It's the same color, but a slightly lighter or a slightly darker version. So let's go with lighter so we can make it quite similar to the example that I'm showing you. So I'm going to put out a little bit of the ultramarine and more of the white. And I want this to be about, I don't know, 2 shades lighter than the base. So I'm going to mix that up here. I don't want it to be pure white because that would be pretty high contrast, even against something this light. I try to keep it close in value so that it's a nice subtle pattern that kind of disappears into the background and allows the florals to be the focus. So I think that's pretty good. That looks like a nice kind of lighter version of this color. Slightly lighter.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of like a periwinkle color. Okay, so this is a dry brush technique. So you don't want to have tons of paint on the brush. So we're going to get it onto the surface of the brush, but we don't want to have tons of paint. And if we get too much, we're going to dab it off onto the paper towel. So the brush is very dry. We want it to be very dry technique. We don't want to have tons of paint on there because it'll squish under the stencil. The nice thing about using the stencil brush too is that you can change your pressure and lighten up and have the edges fade out gradually rather than end abruptly. So we're going to put the stencil down. We've got the paint and the stencil brush, and I'm going to do a circular motion like this. And I'm going to lift it up, and you can see that as I go with a lighter pressure, my edges are going to fade out into a nice soft blend. There you go. Look at that. Very nice.
It's very ethereal.
So yeah, so I'll soften this out here a little bit more. So you have this nice subtle application of the weaving stencil and the stencil brush and the dry brush technique. And as you get lighter in your pressure, as you go out the edges, you can sort of fade this out, which has many applications in addition to just sections behind the Funky Florals. It could be behind all kinds of mixed media subject, especially with that soft fade of the edge. So I hope that you find this helpful, and to see how I actually use stencils on the surface of my artwork in my Funky Florals.
Elizabeth generally does layering, and for this video she didn't, so I thought I would step in with one quick layered print. If you look closely at this, you can see Alien Attack from the Geo Boogie collection in the background. That's the brighter blue. And then on top of that in the red is Harmony. And then I pulled out, this is an older stencil. This one is named, we turn the back, you can see it a little bit better. This one is named Echoes of Klimt, and I put the ghost print on top of that. So there's just so many ways that you can use these. One of the things that I've been doing a lot lately, if I cut a strip 3 inches tall by 6 inches wide and I fold it in half, I'd have a little 3x3 signature, and if I glue them back to back, these become pages in a journal, and then I just have to glue a cover on the front and the back. So that's always an option. And then something else that you can do, and I did not look up these 2 stencil names, so I'm gonna have to tell you I don't know them, but obviously they'll be available. This is, I think this is Pyrrole Red, and this is probably a combination of something that I mixed. There's a couple of colors in the Amsterdam acrylic line. One of them is black, and the other is, here it is. This one is Prussian Blue Phthalo. I like to mix black with Prussian Blue Phthalo. If you look, This has the open triangle, the open square, which means that it's translucent. The black deepens it, and it'll also add some opacity. So that's why you can see some variation in color in this Geo Boogie 2 design. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the back of this. See how this is open right here? I'm going to wet the back of this. I'm going to wet the whole thing. But I'm going to come in from the back, and I'm going to use some turquoise, and it's going to bleed through, and I'm going to show you what happens if I'd actually done it on the front. Because this is an opaque color, it would tend to obscure the front a little bit more. So let's slide this over here. Let's put some water out. And then actually, while I'm at it, let me spray this, because it always is better if this is wet. The color flows more freely. So now if I put some of this is turquoise, filled in square so you can tell that it's opaque. And I'm going to use a brush, and I'm going to thin this with a fair amount of water so that it just kind of brushes over and then bleeds through. All right, so if I do this here, now I could do this with multiple, and I have in fact done it with multiple colors, and it's really cool when you do that, but for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to do that here right now. But if I come along here, you can see where this is, you can see how the paint is open there, and when I come with the turquoise, it's going to look really cool. So if I flip this over, you can see the color peeking through from the back. You can see the spots here where the red paint was not a solid layer. And here's the difference. If I take that same watered down paint and I brush it here, you can see what happens. I'm going to really obscure the red because I'm going over the top, as opposed to coming in through the back here like I am. So you have the option. You can do one or the other. It really depends on what you want to do. My preference is this. So if I wanted to have a little fun with this, if I flip this back over and I come in with some of the Prussian blue phthalo and I do the same thing, I can add a little bit of darker color in here too. Now this is going to brush blend, and that's fine. It doesn't really make any difference. It's darker than what's down there. So if I do this, and I can come up and I can start to play, and this is a technique that Elizabeth showed me years ago, and the reason that she likes it and why it makes so much sense for her is because when you do this, when you tear the paper the way that she does, you're not going to get white edges. And for what she's doing, oftentimes, not having those white edges is pretty darn important. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you may find that this is a much better technique for you. So if we kind of call this finished and then flip this over, now you can see those darker, whoops, I just tore the edge of that. Now you can see that darker color coming through, and obviously most of that was sitting on top has come off. So this is an opportunity. It's a technique that you can utilize in a bunch of different ways.
Okay, Booger, that's it. We're done.
It's boogerlicious. We are done.
Yes, we are done with this video. We hope you enjoyed those the plethora of techniques, and we'll see you next time.
We will. Bye.
Bye.